What an amazing scene behind me. And welcome. Today I'm going to talk about aspect ratios and cropping and pick out one or two potential mistakes that you can make without even realizing it. I know a lot of you are experienced photographers. Some of you are beginners, but a lot of you are very experienced. And if you're like me, you tended to take a shot, frame it reasonably well, but rely on one thing to get you out of a jam, and that was being able to fix it in post. So today I'm going to take a slightly different approach, as you would expect from that old photo guy. What an absolutely sensational morning, fabulous light. Anyway, today I am going to show you how to choose the correct aspect ratio when you're framing your shot right at the outset. And the result of this will be that you won't have to crop for an aspect ratio when you come to edit your shot. It also has an additional benefit, a bit of a surprise benefit in a way. It's because it brings your intention for the shot right to the camera, not left in the editing workflow. So you have to think about your composition right from the get-go, rather than relying on your editing software to sort it out later. So first off, I'm going to take a few shots with different aspect ratios, and I'm going to use this rock down here in this lovely, gorgeous pool for that experiment. Anyway, let's start off with a 3x2 because that's normal for most full frame cameras. And then I'm going to change that to a 4x3, which of course is micro 4/3 ratio. And then we'll change that to the ubiquitous 16:9. Everything is 16:9, isn't it, these days? So let's give that a go. And finally, let's do a square. Now, just as a tip, obviously you can go into your own menus and change the aspect ratios, but I've set mine up on the custom key, so it makes it much easier to do that when you're on location. Saves diving through all those menus, doesn't it? Anyway, that's all the shots taken. We'll have a look at them in just a moment. Well, now the question is, which aspect ratio should I use for my composition? If your composition is going to be wide and expansive, I would suggest a 16:9 or even a 65:24, like a Hasselblad X-Pan ratio. You'll probably need to stitch a few shots together to do that, but it's very effective. If it's a close-up shot, I tend to go for a square ratio, 1:1. And sometimes a 4x5 will work equally well. Obviously, it very much depends on your composition. So intentionally think about the aspect ratio that you're going to use. Don't fall into the trap of, well, if I take a 3x2, I can crop what I need. Actually set your camera up for the particular aspect ratio you've chosen and go for it. Okay, let's talk about something else that is connected to aspect ratios and is a major part of your composition. As you know, I use a 24-105 lens 99% of the time when I'm at the beach. And it can cause me to be a bit lazy, regardless of whatever aspect ratio I'm using. There's a strong tendency for me to use the zoom feature on this lens to get closer to a particular subject. However, if I do that, I'm not actually taking full advantage of my ability to get the best quality image that I can. So I'm a strong advocate of where you can, zoom with your feet, not with your lens. Now, the reason I say that is that with zooming, it has an additional effect which you may not want in your composition. So if you zoom your lens, in this case, to, I don't know, say 100mm, there'll be a huge amount of compression in my shot. So all those things that are in the background will suddenly become much closer. And vice versa. So if I'm shooting at 24mm, then everything in the distance will be further away. So I tend to think of zooming not so much about getting close to my subject, but the effect on the overall composition. And that effect is compression. So just to reiterate from previous videos, I use my shutter speed for motion, I use my aperture for creating the depth of field that I want, and I use zooming, the focal length, for compression in the shot. Dead simple, really, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take a few shots here. Beautiful, clear water. Fantastic. So just for fun, I'm going to set this on 16:9 and take a shot of this lovely rock in the rock pool. I'm now going to get a bit closer, crouch down for this one. Take another shot. Now in that circumstance, I've got the whole of the rock pool in the shot. So let's, my normal rule of thumb is we'll take a square shot because I'm getting close. Now this shot has got some of the rock pool. It's not so good. So I'm going to zoom with my feet, get really close up. Gosh, I can get even closer. I'm on about 27, 28mm. Just going to compose this with the rock slightly left of centre, just below halfway up the frame. Bingo. Let's have a look at that shot. Could be interesting. So what is the biggest takeaway from this little session at the beach today? The intention behind your shot, behind your composition, is absolutely vital to everything. It's a fundamental thing that you have to be aware of when you're composing a shot. What is your intention? What are you trying to say? The aspect ratio will help you with that composition, with your intention for the shot. So, a little thing that you can try. If you've got a prime lens, that's fine, but if you've got a zoom lens, fix on one focal length, go down to your local beach for a shoot, and experiment with different aspect ratios. experiment with your 3x2, which might be what you are normally using, or 4x3 of course, 16x9 and square. Try 4x5 too. Just experiment and have a bit of fun. Do what I've done today, pick a subject and shoot that same subject in exactly the same way but with different aspect ratios, and then when you're reviewing those shots, come to some sort of conclusion about how you might use aspect ratios in the future. Oh, by the way, don't forget to comment below about your favourite aspect ratios for beach photography. It'd be great to share those. And if you've got anything out of this video that you think you might like to go and try, or it's giving you a little light bulb moment or something, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps. So I was just been thinking about where would you like to go to next, and I did mention a video that I published a little while ago about beach stories, or stories at the beach. So how about having a look at how to make your beach photos tell a story? I'll put a link at the end as well. Okay, thanks for now. Thanks very much for watching, and catch you again next week. Bye.